You're welcome. This is OGTV News. I am Mojisola Sholaja. To the news trending, 2 APC presidential hopefuls visit Ogun for consultation. Federal government targets 21 million jobs from infrastructure investment by 2025. DSS alerts of bomb attacks in public places. UN scribe pushes for safe corridors for aid evacuation in Ukraine. Sometimes the bad things that happen in our lives put us directly on the path to the most wonderful things that will ever happen to us.
And on the business segment of the news, Nigerians' daily petrol consumption rises to 74 million liters. Details of this and more when I return. My name is Okpeyemi Adeomi. Don't go away.
And coming up from the world of sport, Wilfred Ndidi may miss Eagles AFCON 2023 Leon Stars clash. I am Emmanuel Dasalu, and details of this and more will be coming up on the sports segment of the news. Do stay with us.
We begin with politics. Ogun State government says the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, as a Nigerian, has every right to contest the position of President on the platform of All Progressives Congress, APC, in the forthcoming general elections. Governor Dapo Abiodun stated this during a consultation meeting held by the Vice President with the people of Remoland. Governor Abiodun described Professor Osinbajo as an epitome of success who has distinguished himself in the past 7 years as the nation's Vice President.
Steadfastness, your sincerity, your humility, your character, your integrity. You are an illustrious son of not just Remoland, Ogun State, but of Nigeria. One that we're indeed very, very, very proud of. Your Excellency, on behalf of all those that are here today, of which I represent them as a son of Remoland like you, we will be with you, we will stand with you, we will stand by you, we will give you that support.
Caribou and paramount ruler of Remoland lauded Professor Osinbajo for demonstrating exemplary character.
The trajectory of the argument is competence, is integrity, is ta ló lè ṣe. Gbogbo wa, we are living witnesses to when our son was in charge as acting president. Àríyàtọ̀ ní ìlú yìí. Àbáríyàtọ̀ ìyẹn ọ̀sẹ̀ mélòó ni àbẹ̀ oṣù mélòó ni. What will happen if ó jẹ́ pé ó máa lọ ọdún mẹ́rin, ọdún mẹ́jọ as president?
In his address, Professor Yemi Osinbajo said he has the required capacity to lead Nigeria, having served as vice president in the last 7 years.
I know that governing at the highest levels in our country requires some experience. It requires some training. And after a period of 7 years, 7.5 years now, of working as vice president of Nigeria, seeing what many people have never seen, being able to participate at both local and international levels of governance, being able to tackle very, very sensitive issues of governance. I know that God did not provide those opportunities simply so that I'll go and sit down and write my memoirs. No. God does not make a mistake. He provided those opportunities such that one day I will be called upon to serve in the highest capacity, to serve as president of our nation.
The event was attended by dignitaries in Remoland. In the meantime, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has held a closed-door parley with All Progressives Congress delegates from 236 wards in Ogun State as part of his presidential aspiration. Fowora Adesanwo reports that Professor Osinbajo is romancing the delegates from the state ahead of the 2022 Delegate Congress of the party slated for May in Abuja.
The Presidential Lodge, GRA Abeokuta, was filled to capacity. APC stalwarts, party members, and their supporters made their ways to the gates of the Presidential Lodge, but only the security men and the delegates from 236 wards of Ogun State were allowed into the venue of the meeting. The meeting, which lasted for just an hour, was held behind closed doors. However, feelers from the meeting showed that the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, was out to sell his candidacy to the delegates from Ogun State, where he also hails from.
There's nothing wrong about it, because we want Nigeria to have the best leadership, irrespective of whatever anybody may say.
I've been one of the greatest followers of the Vice President around here, and it's because I believe that without prejudice and without taking anything away from the other aspirants, I think he has all of these characters.
Unfortunately, there's not yet a consensus from the Southwest about who of our aspirants in APC that we should follow.
There has never been any time that politicians or electorates don't go their own way. The fact that consensus are made or arrived at many occasions does not still mean that people don't go their own way.
Professor Osinbajo, who has been the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria since 2015, had been part of decision-making body of the present administration at the federal level.
They are all aspirants, at least for now. And we all keep our fingers crossed and listen and allow the voice of wisdom to prevail.
God is on our side for giving us a kind of personality of Professor Yemi Osinbajo.
For us, for now, just because they are just coming one after the other, we will give them time to see, for them to tell us what they have to offer.
He has everything to do it. Economically, he has the stuff. And being a lawyer and somebody who knows what he's doing, definitely we are on to a better Nigeria come May 2023.
According to some of the delegates who spoke with OGTV News, the Vice President is good enough for the job based on the experiences he had garnered in the last 7 years of the administration. Political horse trading continues. Fowora Adesanwo, OGTV News.
And still talking politics. The Vice President of Nigeria and 2023 presidential aspirant in the All Progressives Congress APC, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has said he is confident of coming out victorious in the 2023 presidential poll after his visit to the palace of Alake of Egbaland. Professor Osinbajo stated this while being received by the Alake and paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, describing the visit as homecoming to give progress reports on his ambition to deploy what he has acquired over the years, serving at the highest office in the land. Matthew Shomi reports.
Ogun State has never been short of great men and women who have given good accounts of themselves at every opportunity to serve in government. One of such is Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who came to the palace of the Alake and paramount ruler of Egbaland in Abeokuta to receive royal blessings ahead of his bid to get the presidential ticket of All Progressives Congress. Accompanied by the Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun, Deputy Governor Engineer Noemon Salako Oyedele, members of his cabinet, the Vice President was received by Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, traditional rulers in Egbaland, Egba chiefs, with National and State Assembly members, APC chieftains, and others also on the ground. Vice President Osinbajo believed his exposure to different aspects of governance and serving as the acting president in some instances have placed him in a vantage position of understanding the prospects and challenges of the country. Professor Osinbajo stated that he has always stood by anyone he has had the opportunity of serving under, even in difficult times, and all that is required of him was to bring the same commitments, loyalty, and dedication to the service of the nation.
I will not better your discretion in any way. I will never do. So I want to say that after 7.5 years of serving as vice president, being able to see for myself, being able to observe for myself what we have done right, what we could have done better, and various other things. I think that when the opportunity now arose for me to decide whether or not to run as president of Nigeria, I had only one question to ask myself. And that question is whether I will be faithful to my oath to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to the people of Nigeria, to serve with all my heart and to serve with all my might. That's the only question I had to ask myself. And because I've served previously, I've served others in various capacities previously, and I've given everything. There's not one of those I've served under. I served under President Ajibola.
Introducing Professor Osinbajo earlier, Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun said the vice president represents the best that the state is known for and declared that the state is very of the presidential aspirants.
Our state of none other than His Excellency, the Vice President, Omoluabi Vice President of Nigeria, who has served meritoriously for the past 7 years, the poster boy of this administration. Do us proud.
Alake and Paramount of Egbaland, Oba Adelotun Aremu Gbadebo, said the visit of the vice president has always been fortuitous, as he has always achieved victory at the end of every endeavor that takes him through the palace. Oba Gbadebo prayed for a new Nigeria during his time and believed his time will be most beneficial to the nation.
I want to pray that by the grace of God, when you come back, you will come back. And by the grace of God, your time will be most beneficial to all Nigerians. The Nigeria of our dream will come during your time. We have been waiting for this for so long, and God will make it happen.
Some of the chieftains of the All Progressives Congress who came to receive the vice president spoke on this visit to the states.
And see that the acceptability is quite high, much higher than even one was thinking about. And I think that I can only, wish him well. Number one, as a party man. Number two, that the fact from I'm an indigene of Ogun State. The vice president is from Ogun State. I see this project as our own project.
Having achieved the goals of carrying his people along in his ambition to lead the nation, Professor Osinbajo departed amidst jubilation and show of support from the people. Matthew Shoumi, OGTV News.
Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has described the Minister of Transportation and a presidential hopeful on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Rotimi Amechi, as a hard-working man that has contributed immensely to the growth of the nation. Governor Dapo Abiodun made the remarks while hosting the minister and his entourage who were in the state to interact with APC members in preparation for the party's presidential primary election coming up in May at the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiyu reports.
Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun and his deputy, Engineer Noimot Salako Yidele, Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, amongst many other party stalwarts of the ruling party, All Progressives Congress, APC, in the 3 senatorial districts of the state, received the Minister for Transportation, Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, and his delegates who have come to intimate party faithfuls in the state of his ambition as a presidential aspirant. Rotimi Amechi, having served in different capacities both at the state and national level, especially as two-time Speaker of the House of Assembly and Governor of Rivers State, as well as a serving Minister of Transportation, showed his dexterity before Ogun State party stakeholders that is capable of transforming Nigeria. The 56-year-old Rotimi Amechi said he was in the state to also inform the party members about his programs, stating that his candidature was not based on ethnic coloration, but determined in promoting a better country through his many years of experience, if given the opportunity to flag the flag of the party in the forthcoming 2023 presidential election.
I'm very experienced. I am not a Yoruba candidate, and I will not be a Yoruba candidate. I am not an Hausa Fulani candidate, and I will not be an Hausa Fulani candidate. I am not an Igbo candidate, and I will not be one. I am not an Ikone candidate where I come from, and I will not be one. I am a Nigerian candidate. I don't tie that. I don't play. I'm not a normal politician. Ask anybody who knows me. I say my mind and I go home to sleep. I don't play tribalistic politics. I don't play you're from Rivers State, you're from Imo State. No, you are first and foremost who? A Nigerian. You are important to me as a Nigerian, because without this nation, we will not have where to stay.
Extolling the virtues of the minister, Governor Abeokuta reflected that his many years of experience as Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly, a governor and present minister are enough testimonies that he is qualified for the job.
First and foremost, salute your courage, your zeal, your determination. Having served your country in various diverse capacities successfully, you have now decided to throw your heart in the ring and offer yourself for selfless service to lead this country and succeed our indefatigable President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. I want to salute you because you have been governor before. You know what it is to govern a state. Now transferring that level of responsibility to wanting to govern a country that has 36 states and the FCT, which is no mean task, particularly at this point in time in the history and situation our country has found itself.
While wishing him best of luck in his ambition, Governor Abeokuta informed that the current administration has done a lot in ensuring that the party is stronger and formidable in the state through the implementation of various developmental projects, which, according to him, has encouraged other politicians from the various political parties to pitch tent with the ruling party in the state.
Still to come on OGTV News. Federal government targets 21 million jobs from infrastructure investment by 2025. We will bring you the details of this and more after the break. You're still watching OGTV News. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has enjoined Muslim Ummah to imbibe the spirit of forgiveness, allow virtues of love and tolerance reflect in their lives during and after the month of Ramadan. Governor Abiodun stated this while hosting the League of Imams and Alfas at the daily iftar organized by Ogun State Government at the Presidential Lodge, Abeokuta. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiyu reports.
The daily iftar in the ongoing Ramadan, organized by the Ogun State government with the League of Imams and Alfas in the state, took turn to pray and appreciate the current administration for its proactive approach for good governance and socio-economic development of the state. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abeokuta described the month of Ramadan as a very significant period for all Muslim faithful across the world, adding that it is expected of them, especially the League of Imams and Alfas, to use the moment to reflect on the virtues of love and tolerance to ensure a better society.
And this month, more than any other month, we must uphold all those virtues, virtues of love, virtues of tolerance, virtues of forgiveness. We must continue to do this alongside with our prayers and fasting so that we are not starving ourselves. And we must also make sure that we uphold this and sustain it beyond these 30 days of fasting.
Governor Abeokuta also stressed that the current administration is doing everything possible across all sectors of the economy to make life more meaningful, saying that the religious institutions should continue to pray for the success and progress of the state.
Kẹ́ túbọ̀ máa fi àdúrà ran ìjọba yìí lọ́wọ́. Gbogbo ìlérí tí a ṣe fún yín ológo Ọlọ́run, Ọlọ́run jẹ́ ká máa múṣẹ. Bí a ṣe ń ṣe sí ọ̀tún, láyé ń ṣe sí òsì. A ṣe nǹkan kan sí apá ibìkan ní Ogun State. Tá a ṣe sí apá ibòmíì, láyé ń ṣe sí Yewa. Là ń ṣe sí Ẹ̀gbá, là ń ṣe sí Jẹ̀bú, là ń ṣe sí Rẹ́mọ. Ọlọ́run á dẹ̀ máa fún wa ní okun àti agbára láti máa ṣe jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ.
One of the imams also commended Governor Dapo Abiodun for the level of infrastructure development springing up in the Gateway State.
We need to thank Almighty Allah for giving us such governors, because if you go to Ijebu-Ode now, you will see different new roads and new things is happening in Ogun State. We need to thank him and appreciate him. So we pray Almighty Allah to let him do more.
Prayers were thereafter offered for the growth and development of the country.
As part of its efforts at supporting Muslim faithful during the ongoing Ramadan period, the Emirates Red Crescent Group and Friends of Danso distributed food items to faithfuls across the 20 local government areas of Ogun State. Distributing the items in Abeokuta, Citizens Affairs Officer of the organization, Muhammad Bashir Raji, said it was a way of performing ladder as directed by Prophet Muhammad during the fast. He noted that Ogun was lucky to be part of the 3 states in Nigeria to benefit from the donations made by Emirates Red Crescent to 2.1 million beneficiaries in 64 countries across the world. In her remarks, Special Assistant to the Deputy Governor, Mrs. Olabimpe Akama Folabi, who until her appointment was a staff of the Consular General, United Arab Emirates, Lagos, and also the Secretary General of the Danso Foundation, said the organization was committed to uplifting humanity. She added that the gesture was in fulfillment of an act of ibadah, which is to give helping hands to people, especially the needy, during and after Ramadan, as directed by the Holy Prophet Muhammad. Now to education. Ogun State government has called for the support of all private schools administrators and owners to benefit from the endless list of opportunities in the digitalization agenda. Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, made the call at a meeting with executive members of the Association of Approved Private Schools on digitization of approved private schools' learners' data for web-based opportunities on Ogun State Education Revitalization Agenda, OGTV, platform for effective planning, administration, and advancement of education in the state. The commissioner pointed out that government was not put in place for only public schools, but for private schools as well, adding that this has necessitated the state's education planning process to incorporate and adequately cater for learners in private schools too. Arigbabu highlighted some digitization process in the education sector embroiled in OGTV to include automated sales of screening and transfer form, bakery registration, e-dossiers, remote learning, and many more. He opined that integrating the private schools into the program would help to utilize the limitless opportunities inherent on the platform. He revealed that the ministry has set modalities in place to work together with stakeholders in the private school sector to capture the needed data in order to put private learners at par with their counterparts in the public schools.
Others. But the point is that anybody who is going to the business must go into the business the right way. So if all of us are on the same leverage, you are registered, you pay the fees you have to pay, you do what you should do, then that will make you also uphold the standard.
In his welcome address, the Director, Department of Planning, Research and Statistics, Mr. Ezekiel Adewumi, explained that the Oxera platform harbors all the models in the educational digitization agenda that will be used to transact all educational business of the state with ease and administrative efficiency. The Ogun State Teaching Service Commission will not relent in its efforts at ensuring proper and effective monitoring process in order to enhance effectiveness of school administration in the state. This was made known by the state chairman of the commission, Evangelist Olalekan Ifede, during the school monitoring exercise. Margaret Okunlola reports.
One of the responsibilities of the Teaching Service Commission is effective and proper monitoring process to enhance effectiveness in school administration. In view of this, the management staff of the Ogun State Teaching Service Commission was on school monitoring exercise for the resumption of the third academic term in schools across the state. The team, which was led by Chairman of the Commission, Evangelist Olalekan Ifede, revealed that the essence of the exercise is to monitor the schools, teachers, administration, behavior of students, as well as to ensure effective and productive teaching learning process.
This is one of the activities we do to make sure that our administrators, the school administrators, our teachers are on their toes so that they will not relent because they don't know when we will come.
The permanent secretary of the commission, Dr. Abdulwahid Olanloye, appreciated the state government for giving optimum attention to the education sector.
When you monitor teachers, they will be on their toes. They will know that it's not business as usual. You know, they need to actually step up their game. They need to actually step up their writing of lesson notes, attending to classes, and giving assignments to students so that, you know, there will be improvement in educational delivery in our school.
Teachers commended the initiative of the exercise.
It's not possible for them to be in their different offices and know what is really going on between the teachers, students, and the school environment. So this will really create a good awareness and give them a thorough understanding of the whole thing.
Schools visited include Itori Comprehensive High School, junior and senior schools in Ewekoro local government, Methodist High School, Arigbajo, junior and senior in Ifo local government area of the state. Margaret Okunlola, OGTV News.
Ogun State government has commenced a 3-day free information communication technology training across the state. The training exercise, which commemorates the celebration of International Girls' Day in ICT, kicked off at the Ogun State Tech Hub, Kobakwe Road, Abeokuta, and will be rounded off on Thursday, 28th April 2022. Sheyi Alau reports.
The International Girls' Day in ICT is marked globally and annually on the 28th of April, as part of efforts of Ogun State government to make this year's edition memorable. A 3-day free ICT training for girls has been flagged off. The training exercise was aimed at encouraging girls to pursue careers in information and communications technology.
The whole idea of this program is to encourage young girls from an early age. The age bracket is between 7 and, we targeted ages of between 7 and 15. The whole idea is to encourage them to take up on ICT. These days, ICT cuts across all professions. What we're trying to tell them is that is something that they need to embrace. Even if you want to become a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, these days ICT cuts across all those professions.
The exhibitors were divided into 3 categories, which include web design, digital electronics, and 3D animation and cartooning.
But we look at the program as not just for the celebration without having something that will remind you of the essence of the celebration. So that's why we feel from here we have to engage the girls from within Ogun State to learn few things. And part of the things they are going to learn here is on web development, the 3D animation and cartooning, then digital literacy, electronics. We have girls fixing those 3 classes.
The exhibitors expressed gratitude to the state government for the initiative.
I feel happy to be part of the program because it's a great opportunity many are looking forward to. My dream is to become an automobile engineer in future, so this ICT program can help me in many ways. I'm anxious to be for them to start this program. I'm very, very happy to be among them. I want to say thank you to the state government for organizing this for students.
The International Girls' Day for ICT is an initiative of the United Nations International Telecommunication Union, ITU. Sheyi Alao, OGTV News.
A one-day training for food vendors on the National Homegrown School Feeding Program of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs has been organized for 40 participants in Ogun State. The training, according to the State Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Barrister Femi Ogubanwo, was put together to ensure a safe and hygienic work environment for the food vendors. Adebola Oshomoji reports.
Having commenced the Homegrown School Feeding Program in the year 2016, the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development embarked on various trainings for cooks in 36 states of the Federation to ensure safe, hygienic work environment. And to further leverage on this, a one-day training program was extended to Ogun State as 40 food vendors selected from the 20 local government areas of the state were trained.
This program is going to enhance the enrollment of pupils in the school. A lot of people will be, it's going to be a sort of encourage more pupils to attend the school. And at the same time, it will empower the local producers. And at the same time, and equally, create empowerment to the cook, to the farmers, to the vendors.
According to the State Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Barrister Femi Ogubanwo, the training became imperative for the cooks to ensure they are well trained in their behaviors, physical appearances, cooking methodologies, and others.
That there should be an improvement in the quality of the food they serve our children. This program is so important to Mr. President and our governor as well. So that's why we have called them. We have observed some lapses during our recent tour of the local government. So that's why we have called them. And those who have called now will go back home to train the remaining ones.
Some of the cooks acknowledged the essence of the training.
There's nothing we want to tell the government than to appreciate what they are doing for us. We will always be appreciating them before, and we will still continue to be appreciating them because we have belief in them that the Lord will help them.
We thank our government for what they are doing, and we want them to be continuing this program because we women, most of them didn't have anything to do, but as we are doing this work, little by little that we are achieved from this thing is helping us.
The need to ensure a hygienic working environment, food procurement, food standardization, as well as financial literacy were also emphasized at the training, as the trainees were urged to be sincere in the discharge of their duties and extend the knowledge gained to other homegrown vendors in the state. Adebola Oshomoji, OGTV News.
The Ogun State House of Assembly Committee on Justice, Ethics and Public Petition has charged the State Minister of Justice to effectively implement the state anti-land grab law to reduce incessant killings and forcible occupation of landed property by land grabbers. The committee chairman, Honorable Solomon Osho, gave the charge while hosting the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Barrister Oluwashino Ogungbade, at the ongoing budget performance assessment for the first quarter at the Assembly Complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Kolawole Osho's report is presented in this package.
Chairman House Committee on Justice, Ethics and Public Petition, Honorable Solomon Osho, while taking up Minister of Justice on the effective implementation of the state anti-land grabbing law to curtail incessant killings and forcible occupation of landed property by land grabbers, lamented the slow pace of prosecution of land grabbers, said there was need to ensure strict enforcement of the anti-land grabbing law to stop the upsurge in land grabbing cases in the state. He equally challenged the ministry on the need to find a workable means towards decongesting the prisons across the state. Responding, Barrister Ogungbade assured the assemblymen of proper implementation of all the legislations in the state, while stating that there was need to further sensitize the members of the public on the need to report land-related disputes to the law enforcement agencies for prosecution.
But what we have tried to do is to make do with the task force on illegalities, which exists in Ogun State, and to that extent, that task force has been helpful.
It disclosed that in the last quarter, the release of over 100 inmates had been facilitated by the Office of the Public Defender, either through bail or striking out of cases in which trials could not commence. The Attorney General further disclosed that over 90 human rights and criminal cases like rape, stealing and armed robbery, amongst others, were disposed in various courts in the state, while the Office of the Public Defender had assisted about 200 suspects to secure police bail within the period under review.
The federal government is planning to generate 21 million full-time jobs through massive investment in social infrastructure and services. Minister of State, Finance, Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Agba, disclosed this while speaking at the workshop on harmonization and finalization of monitoring and evaluation framework for the implementation of the second national program of action in Abuja. Agba said the decision to generate the 21 million jobs was one of the outcomes of the current National Development Plan 2021 to 2025, which seeks to lift 35 million people out of poverty by 2025. The Department of State Services has alerted the nation of renewed plots by malevolent elements to create more chaos in the country by using improvised explosive devices to bomb public places in the country. The spokesman for the DSS, Dr. Peter Afunaya, said in a statement on Tuesday that the evil men were plotting to return Nigeria to the pre-2015 era when they bombed both soft and hard targets, particularly worship and relaxation centers. The statement pointed out that though the attacks had already been carried out in some parts of the country, the service had uncovered a plot by suspected criminal gangs to force an alliance among themselves with a view to launching further attacks on critical infrastructure and other frequented public places like worship and relaxation centers, especially during and after the holidays and festive celebrations. It's time to bring you business news.
Welcome to the business segment of the news. Nigeria has thrown its weight behind efforts by the African Development Bank towards reverting food crisis in Africa. and in response to the Russia-Ukraine war. President Muhammadu Buhari, who stated this while granting audience to the president of the bank, Akinwumi Adesina, described the proactive steps as a worthwhile enterprise. Thanked the African Development Bank for its timely intervention, which it described as not only appropriate but a fitting response to the crisis. It stated it was an indication that the African Development Bank knows the weakness and strength of Africa and at all times planning and working ahead. Earlier, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina said the Russian-Ukraine war would surely create global problems, particularly for Africans, which import a huge percentage of its food from the two countries. Already, he explained the price of wheat had gone up by about 60%, and indications are that there would be fertilizer deficit of nearly 2 million metric tons, which would affect food production by about 20%. Since the outbreak of the Russian-Ukraine war, the African Development Bank has been working hard to insulate Africans from its negative consequences, especially on food security. The president of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, was in Abuja to brief President Muhammadu Buhari on steps taken so far towards averting food crisis on the continent now and in the future. Nigerian daily consumption of premium motor spirits, PMS, also known as petrol, has risen from 72.07 million liters a day in December 2021 to 74 million liters per day as at the week ended April 3, 2022. This came as 36 states, along with the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, received a total of 1.03 billion liters of petrol in 14 days. This was contained in the Nigerian National Petroleum Company NNPC Limited weekly National PMS Evacuation Report for the 21st of March to 3rd of April 2022. Meanwhile, the average retail price of petrol increased to 185.30 in March 2022, indicating a 7.31% year-on-year increase when compared to the value recorded in March 2021. According to the National PMS Evacuation Report, the average national daily evacuation for the period stood at 73.5 million liters. The ongoing widespread blackout across the country will persist as power generation dropped by 39.78% to 2,464.7 megawatts as at 3 p.m. from 4,097 megawatts peak generation recorded on Sunday. Energy data released by the National System Operator showed that 16 plants were on the grid, with Azura to Edo topping generation at 396 megawatts. It was closely followed by Derugu NIP with 391 megawatts. The federal government has expressed optimism that the measures it has put in place in the past few months would boost grid power supply despite the setbacks recorded recently. The chairman of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, Engineer Sanusi Gaba, said government efforts to improve the capacity of the discos to take more power would soon have the necessary impact on the consumers. Deficit spending by the federal government of Nigeria rose by 23.7% year-on-year to 7.3 trillion naira in 2021 from 5.9 trillion naira recorded in 2020. The Central Bank of Nigeria disclosed this in its fourth quarter 2021 statistical bulletin report. The 23% rise in federal government's deficit spending was caused by a 17.4% increase in expenditure, which subdued the 9.2% increase in revenue. According to the CBN, federal government's total revenue for 2021 rose to 4.39 trillion naira in 2021 from 4.02 trillion naira recorded in 2020, representing a 9.2% rise. And that's it on the business segment of the news. We now go back to Moji Sholaja for the rest of the bulletin.
And now to the foreign segment of the news. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called on Moscow and Kiev to work together to set up aid and evacuation corridors in war-torn Ukraine. And in Pakistan, an explosion has killed 3 Chinese nationals and their Pakistan driver in Karachi. For more on the world today, let's join Damilola Odetola.
We urgently need humanitarian corridors that are truly safe and effective and that are respected by all to evacuate civilians and deliver much-needed assistance.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has called for Moscow and Kyiv to work together to set up aid and evacuation corridors in war-torn Ukraine. According to him, there is need for humanitarian corridors that are truly safe and effective. He told a press conference in Moscow on Tuesday after talks with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Guterres told Lavrov that he was ready to fully mobilize the organization's resources to save lives and evacuate people from the besieged Ukrainian city of Mariupol. 3 Chinese nationals and their Pakistani driver were killed in an explosion in the southern city of Karachi, police say. The blast ripped through the van, injuring at least 4 others near the university's Confucius Institute. Police have yet to determine the cause of the blast, but the separate Baloch Liberation Army said the van was attacked by a female suicide bomber. The group opposes Chinese investment in Pakistan, saying locals did not benefit. If confirmed, it would be the first time an attack by the group has been carried out by a female militant. China is heavily involved in large infrastructure projects across Pakistan, including in resource-rich Balochistan province. And finally, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un attends a nighttime military parade to mark the 90th anniversary of the founding of the Korean People's Revolutionary Army in Pyongyang, North Korea. And this updated photo released by North Korea's Korean Central News Agency KCNA on April 26, 2022. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said he would develop the nation's nuclear capabilities at the fastest pace.
It's time to bring you sport news with Emmanuel Dasaulu.
You're welcome to the sports segment of the news. Super Eagles midfielder Wilfred Ndidi has a major doubt for Nigeria's 2023 Africa Cup of Nations opening qualifying game against Sierra Leone, as they will be recovering from a new injury suffered in the UEFA Europa Conference League round of 16 second leg tie against third winners on March 17. According to Leicester City manager Brendan Rodgers, and that they will not be back for the Foxes' last game of the season against Southampton on May 22nd. The Nigerian will only return to training, not full fitness, on May 31. With the Eagles set to play the Leon Stars on the first week of June, it's most likely the Mercurial midfielder would not have returned from injury. Now, Real Madrid have agreed a deal to sign Chelsea defender Antonio Rudiger when his contract expires at the end of the season. On Sunday, Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel said Rudiger had failed to agree a new deal with the European champions. Rudiger, who has also spoken to Bayern Munich, was offered a contract worth more than £200,000 to stay at Chelsea. The 29-year-old is expected to sign a 4-year deal at the Bernabeu with a medical set to take place in London. Meanwhile, Barcelona defender Ronald Araujo has agreed a contract extension until 2026 with a €1 billion buyout clause. Araujo's previous contract with the Spanish club was set to expire in 2023. The Uruguayan has played 26 times in La Liga this season, scoring 4 goals, including 1 in a 4-0 win against Real Madrid. Araujo joined Barcelona on a 5-year contract from Uruguayan club Boston River in 2018. Moving over to tennis, where Emma Raducanu has split from coach Torben Belt after only 5 months. The 19-year-old U.S. Open champion confirmed Belt as a coach in November, but believes a new training model is needed. German Belt, 45, previously coached former world #1 Angelique Kerber when she won the Australian Open and US Open titles in 2016. A successor will be British #1's Raducanu's 4th coach in a year. Roger Federer is expected to play in his home tournament at the Swiss indoors in October. The 20-time Grand Slam champion has not played since Wimbledon in July 2021 and underwent knee surgery later that year. The 40-year-old is also planning to play for Team Europe in the Laver Cup event in London in September. A tournament statement said Federer had entered under his protection ATP ranking of 9. And lastly, Rafael Nadal has confirmed he will make his return to action at the Madrid Open, which starts on May 1st. The 21-time Grand Slam champion has not played since losing in the Indian Wells finals to Taylor Fritz. Nadal suffered breathing issues during the match and revealed afterwards that he has a stress fracture in one of his ribs. The event is the second clay ATP Masters 1000 of the season after Monte Carlo, which was won by Tsitsipas. And that's all we have for you on sport. Now let's return to Moji Sola.
Sometimes the bad things that happen in our lives put us directly on the path to the most wonderful things that will ever happen to us. You can watch us live on these platforms: Apple, Roku, Facebook, and Android devices. You can also watch us live on OGTV website, www.ogtv.com.ng/live, or email info@ogtv.